I sound like you.
All right, welcome to the Senior Placement Live Training. We got Matt here, we got Brittney, and we got Josh behind the scenes. Senior Placement Live Training. I'm so glad you guys are joining us today. We want to do a deep dive into this business. We're going to talk about obviously the senior referral business and how it's affected my life and Brittney's lives. And we're going to get right into a little bit of what we're going to cover in a second. But we want this to be different, you guys. If you've got a question, even during this live training, this is a live training. Now, if you're watching the recorded version, you can drop a comment down in the comment section. But if you're watching live, man, go ahead and hit a comment, a question, something you want. We can put it on the screen and talk about it all during this live training. We're also going to get into a Q&A at the end. We'll get more into that. But let's get into it a little bit. What is the agenda that we're going to cover today? So I want to go over the 5 things that we're going to cover during this live training. So the agenda, all right, here's the agenda. We're going to get right to it. The agenda, we're going to go through the golden opportunity of this business, how the business works, setting up your business, attracting leads, and receiving your first paycheck. Man, that is so cool, but you got to understand the golden opportunity. And the purpose of this live training, Brittney, we're not going to get into a whole bunch of sales and trying to convince people to buy something. I mean, yeah, we've got the Senior Placement Institute. We train people in 34 different states across the country. But, man, it's more about your life being changed, isn't it? I mean, Brittney, how's your life been changed doing this business?
A completely new life, to be honest. So in many ways, financially, obviously, is one thing about this business that is great, but also just we talk all the time, just emotionally and all the rewarding things it does for me in my life, all the amazing people that I've met that I now call friends. So it's really been life-changing.
Absolutely. For me, I tell you, I became an entrepreneur in 2018. And, I was a 9-to-5 employee, so to speak, just job after job and, had a decent life. But I wanted to talk to the person today and get very real with you. And again, if you're just popping on, you want to put a comment or a question, you can go ahead and do that in the chat. And we'll put it on the screen and we'll answer your questions along the way. And we'll also answer them at the end of this time. But, it literally changed my life. I don't live paycheck to paycheck anymore, this is not a brag session. This is not something like, hey, we've got something and we're trying to convince you to get involved in what we're doing. We just love to see people's lives changed. And I want to talk to the person that's making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. And you just feel like you're stuck. I mean, come on. I mean, 6 figures is not 6 figures like we know it today. Like it was years ago, right? I mean, I remember aspiring to get to 6 figures, Brittney, and going, oh my gosh, if I could just get there, boy, I'll have a life of autonomy and financial freedom. It's just not the case anymore. But these are the 5 things I want to get into: the golden opportunity, how the business works, setting up your business, attracting leads, and receiving your first paycheck. Now, here's our gift to you. Our gift to you is, again, it's going to be a Q&A. This is a live training, so we want you to ask questions. And if you don't want to ask questions during the session, which you can, just put it in the chat. We'll put it on the screen and answer your question right along the way. If you're pressed for time, we respect that. We really appreciate you being here live with us. But if you want to wait until the end and ask us questions, we're going to stay around, answer your questions, because we want you to get all the information that you need. This is not a sales thing. This is an informational session that we're going to have. But also, we're going to give you something. Now, our gift to you is we're going to give you a free training course just by booking a phone call with us. All you have to do, you see the little phone on there. I don't know if you can see it too well. But if you go to seniorhomebusiness.com, and you click the schedule a consultation call, you will be on my calendar. And pick a day and time that's convenient for you, and we'll get on the call, 15, 20 minutes, not a sales thing, just going to answer more of your questions, tell you more about the business. By doing that, we're going to give you a free training course. And we're super excited about that, Brittney, because we just want to get the information out there, right? Because it's changed your life, it's changed my life, and we want other people to be a part of this. And so let's get into it. Let's get into the golden opportunity. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time trying to, puff up this industry and build it up more than what it really is. But man, it really is booming. The baby boomers will boom this industry, and even beyond. I'll put some other numbers up here, Brittney. I call it the peak 65. Some people call it the senior tsunami. There's a lot of different, ways to say this, but essentially by 2030, all the baby boomers will be 65. That is incredible. Now, you see to date, 11,200 people turn 65 every day in the United States. This is a little bit of the opportunity, the golden opportunity for you to jump in. Because some people, Brittney, think they're getting late to the party, late to the game. Is that true? Are they getting late?
No, we need more local senior living referral agents and placement agencies out there. So definitely not. Here's a good way to look at it. I'm sure as you drive around your city, you see all these buildings going up, assisted living, memory care, all of those things are going up like rapid fire. I know that I did some research, I think in the last quarter, don't quote me for sure, but if I remember correctly, in 2023, the last quarter, there was $20 billion spent on senior living alone from investors.
Ooh, 20 what? 20 billion with a B. Billion with a B. Wow, that's incredible. But you see 11,200 people. The reason I put that up there is because when I got into the business, doing it by myself, now I used to work for a large community, and my wife was in medical 15 years. So I knew a little bit of the process and things you need to do. But when I got into the game, it was 10,000 people turning 65 every day. And then it graduated as we got into COVID 2020. It was 10,500 people turning every day, turning 65 every day in this country. Now it's up to 11,200. Now check this out. Right now, baby boomers, if you don't know, their ages 58 to 76. They represent 69 million people in this country. Then and the reason I put these other ones up there, Gen Xers, millennials, God, look at the millions of people that are coming right behind the baby boomers. So I know a lot of this industry, we talk about baby boomers because I was on a live with Grant Cardone. Who knows Grant Cardone? Phenomenal, but I was just on a live. And the reason I bring him up is not to promote Grant. But I was listening to his real estate stuff. And Brittney, I wish I had it on record because for like a solid 3 minutes, he started talking about the baby boomers. And he said, man, you need to follow the baby boomers. When they were in the 30s, man, diapers were exploding because they were having kids. He said, the senior living industry is exploding and will continue to explode. I wish I had that on recording. My gosh. All right. Hey, I'm going to keep my word to you. Daniel out there says, Brittney, what is the most efficient way to get registered as a placement agency with all your local communities? Brittney, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah. So it's really not a hard process to get basically established with them. And we'll go over this a little bit. But you create a referral agreement, and essentially that referral agreement is how you introduce yourself and then get a referral agreement in place to become a actual partnership, so a contract partner. It's a lot less convoluted than it sounds, but yeah, it's a pretty simple process. We'll touch on that in more detail.
Hey, thanks a lot, Daniel. If you have any more questions, you can throw the chat as well, just like Daniel did. We'll throw up on the screen, answer it right along the way, or answer your questions right at the end. But you look at the millennials, 72 million people. But let's get into what your area, because some of these, sometimes when people give stats, they kind of go 72 million, 69, and it's like, yeah, okay, but not my area. My gosh, no one's moving to my area. But let me say this. This is the opportunity in your area. I want to give you an exercise to do that you can prove that what we're talking about is legit. All you got to do is go on Google. Search for assisted living memory care communities in your geographical area. I want you to do that today and see how many of these communities pop up. Now, you're going to get the existing communities, but there's a lot more that are popping up now. Just what Brittney said, as far as how many billions of dollars were invested in this industry. But then I want you to take that number, whatever that number is, and I want you to multiply it by 5. Now, why do I say 5? That's not some random arbitrary number. That 5 comes from this. It comes from your large communities will usually have a move-in on a monthly basis, their quota on a monthly basis being 7 move-ins per month. That's usually their quota. Now, do all communities get 7? No, that's not true. A lot of communities will get 8 or 9. I talked to one just the other day. They had 10 already. And, and they still got about 5-6 days left in a month. But you'll get some communities that will get 3 or 4 and they're struggling, right? So I just took an average of 5. And if you do this and you multiply those two numbers, this is going to give you a strong indication of how many seniors are moving each month in your city. Now, let's do the math. The math is this, very simple. Let's say you pull up and there's 100 communities in your area. I think that's pretty conservative. Now, in some areas that may be extravagant. In my area, that's pretty conservative. Larger areas like New York City, Los Angeles, big urban areas, big urban cities, that's going to be a very low number. But let's say 100 and you multiply it by 5. So now you've got the number 500. You multiply that by 2%. Now, what's the 2%? I'm just trying to encourage you today, if you get in this business and there's 500 opportunities of seniors moving every month, can you get 2% of that market share? That's a low number. I mean, most businesses would starve getting 2% of the market share, right? I mean, but you're an entrepreneur. You're going to be in this business, whether you're doing it part-time, which you can do it part-time, or you can do it full-time. If you get 2% of that number, guys, that is 10 move-ins. Now, the referral fee on average, and we'll go over this a little bit later, is between $4,000 and $5,000 a move-in. Now, it's a little bit different. Brittney's in Texas and Missouri, and we can speak to that a little bit later. Texas is a little bit different animal altogether, but typically it's between 4,000 and 5,000. So let's use the low number, 4,000. So you're doing 10 move-ins per month at 4,000. That's a $40,000 monthly income. Guys, you know what that is? That is $500,000. I mean, if you do, everything is the math, right? Math is the path. And so to make $1 million, you have to make $83,333.33 a month. That is the math. So 40,000 is right about halfway of that mark. So you say, man, 10 is a lot. That's just 2%. So maybe you only do 1% of that. Well, 1% would be 5 move-ins. Now you're at 20,000. You're at $250,000 business. So that is the opportunity. Let's get into how the business works. Some of you out there are like, man, how does this business work? Brittney, before I get into the slide here, anything you want to say about how the business works?
Yeah, like we talked about a little bit previously with the contract, so he'll go over in more detail, but it really is, we're showing a very big overview of the process. It's a seamless middleman type of process. So he'll explain, we promote communities, we represent a senior, and we get paid by the communities. And the amazing thing about this industry and this job is it's no cost to families or seniors. So it is really a no-brainer type of model, but I'll let you get into more detail about it.
Absolutely. It is that simple, Brittney. It really is. It's so simplistic. A lot of people try to do this business themselves without the proper training. Now, it doesn't mean you cannot do this business yourself. It does not mean you have to come to the senior home business community and jump into the Senior Placement Institute to do this business. I'm not, too prideful to say that. There's plenty of people in this world that are doing this business that didn't come through us, right, Brittney, for training. But if you don't have the education, the training, it's going to be very difficult. It's like anything in life. So this is essentially what it is. You identify a qualified resident who needs senior living. Underline the word qualified resident. It's not just seniors who need senior living. It's qualified, meaning in this business, it's always care plus cost equals the rent. So do they have the care that's needed to go into senior living? Do they require the care? And do they have the money to go into senior living? Okay, and there's programs out there, but not as many as you may think. And then all you do is introduce this resident and family to a senior living community. Okay, you don't direct them, but through a process that we teach you, the Senior Placement Institute, you will lead them through this process and introduce them to a senior living community. And then the resident moves in to that community, and guess what? You get paid. That is the process of this business. Now, if you're out there and you're in real estate, you're in insurance, you're in various different industries kind of like that, you can throw this right on top of what you're doing. I mean, if you want to schedule a call, go to seniorhomebusiness.com, schedule a consultation call. We'd love to talk to you about it because we've got plenty of people in real estate that are doing this on the side. And then I've had some people that were in real estate that started doing this. And guess what, Brittney? It kind of flipped. They started doing this more. Mm-hmm. I'm seeing more and more people that are in real estate that are jumping out of real estate because of all the chaos that's out there. And I don't know anything that much about real estate. I'm not a, I refer, what do you call those guys? They're agents. I don't know what they're called. What are they called, Brittney? I'm not a broker, I'm not anything in real estate. So, but people are flipping to get in this business because you truly can help people and you can get paid very well for it. So let's go to the next screen. So helping seniors at no cost. Why wouldn't seniors do this themselves? Several different reasons. Well, the first one I put up there is, Brittney, they really could do it themselves.
Yeah.
And plenty of people do.
They do.
Plenty of people go online and they jump into a national company that does some of the research for them. Now, there's some bad things about that. They jump into a telemarketing game, right? Brittney, if they go online, start in all the information, then what happens is that information gets disseminated about 25 different communities throughout their area, not throughout the country, throughout their area. And then all these communities call them and they start going, hey, we got the best pool, the best care, the best food. Check us out. Come schedule a tour. It becomes a sales thing. So they could do it themselves, but I would think that most people cannot make an educated decision without knowing all the information, data, and research. What do you think, Brittney? I mean, can you make it? Do we make decisions in life without information?
Mhm. A lot of people will try to do this themselves. So, I know we get this a lot. They do try to start this process themselves. Unfortunately, they don't get the right information, the right data, and they don't have the ability to research like an expert does in the industry. So they don't make educated decisions, or they simply can't. They can't make that decision to move forward until they have all of the information, the data, stuff that unfortunately online won't tell you, the communities won't tell you, because their job is to sell the community, not guide families around. So yeah, it's definitely, anybody could do it. It's just like you're going to get into, people like to be helped and served. And
You like to be helped, Brittney? You like to be served? Oh my God. Really? That's awesome.
Definitely. So, you're going to get in that more, but yeah, they like to be helped. They like to be served. And why not work with someone that has all of the information, that is in these communities, that is unbiased? I think that's the main thing in this whole thing. As a referral agent, as a referral agent that's helping families, we're not biased. So we're not leading them in one direction. We're not selling them something. We're not online where we're just taking their information and sending it to everything in the 30-mile radius. So they're not getting taken advantage of. They're getting a person that is genuinely in their best interest to make the right decision.
Absolutely. And you just hit on that, being helped and served. I mean, people enjoy this, man. I enjoy going to a restaurant with my wife and there's valet parking. I enjoy going to 4 and 5-star hotels. I enjoy going to different things and being helped, being served. It doesn't mean, hey, one person is better than the other. It's just we prefer that sometimes. And people you'll find in this industry love you helping them because you're essentially helping them at no cost, no obligation, right? You're essentially helping them and they don't pay you one dime. If you don't understand that, man, please understand that the senior in the family, they do not pay you one penny. The community does. The people that you go to the care homes, wherever you're leading or helping the resident to go to, they're going to get paid from that direction. So the last one is they would much rather depend on senior living specialists for assistance. I mean, who wouldn't, right? I want professionals in my life that know things that I don't know. And so that's kind of the thing. So, why wouldn't they do it? So let's get into setting up the business. I want to get into that because I know some of you jumped online today. You're like, man, how do I start my business, man? I want to get going. I really want to do this. I know I can do it. I can just go out and get me one move in. Brittney, I can just go get me $4,000 or $5,000. I can just go, and it becomes like a name drop thing. And I don't like that one bit, but it just comes. Okay, here's a question that's popped up. It says there are so many Facebook pages created for local cities and neighborhoods. I've seen many people asking for recommendations for senior living communities for loved ones on their locals pages. Any sight on that? Brittney, you want to hit that one?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great way. A lot of people, so kind of picking back, why wouldn't they use or why would they use would be a good question. I would say 90% of the families that I've spoke with, Matt, you can probably say the same, have no idea where to turn. They are dropped with this huge decision to make, sometimes in 72 hours, sometimes in a week, sometimes even 2 months is not enough time to make this decision. So you will find people desperately asking for help. Facebook groups are a great way to ask for help. The one downside of that is everybody and their brother is going to comment all these different things, anywhere from independent living, senior living, all the way to a nursing home, all the way to a friend that helped them with their mom. So it's going to be all over the board. So it's great, but usually when those posts are posted, the responses don't really help and it's no fault of the people that are trying to help. They're just not experts. They might have had an experience with their mom that was at a rehab place, for example, for physical therapy, but the question they're asking is for a nursing home or assisted living. That person commenting feels, like they're doing a great job recommending, they had a great experience, whatever it might be. And that's great, but they're not experts. They don't do this for a living. They don't know. They just went through this with their loved one and thought it was the best thing ever. So yes, you will see that all the time. As a referral agent, it's a great place to get leads. We'll talk about leads and how you find seniors. but it's a great way to do that. But yeah, Facebook groups, you're going to see a lot of that. And as we see more seniors coming in the areas that we live in, you're going to see more of that. I can't imagine that there won't be. So yeah, and that's basically, you're watching families asking for help, and that's what we're here for.
Absolutely. And I want to piggyback a little bit on people kind of chiming in where to go, where not to go, and they're not professionals. They may be right, but they might be wrong. I mean, they're just rolling the dice. I got a community in my area, and I won't mention their name because I do love them. I appreciate them. I think all communities are kind of cyclical. They're up 1 minute, down the next. But there's one community in my area where everybody was just referring people over to because it looks like a resort. It's beautiful. It's got wood beams all inside. It's just beautiful inside. But when you do a deep dive into that community, they had like 43 citations over the last 4.5 years, Brittney. That means the state was living there. They probably had an office in that building, and people didn't know because they were just going by the aesthetics of the building. They were going by the location. They may have been going by, to your point, just trusting someone else that maybe went there 4 or 5 years prior, and they had a really good experience. But because things change, like executive directors, marketing directors always like to say, they rotate around like football coaches. They really do. I talked to someone the other day, and come to find out he just moved to another community. The executive director just moved there from another community. I mean, literally all within, a matter of weeks. And I was like, wow, they just changed. Okay, we're going to get into, Fred talks about what's the best way to find qualified leads. We're going to get into that in just a little bit, Fred, but thank you for your question. Hang with us just for a few moments. If you can, you're probably busy and all, but hang with us just for a few moments. We'll get into that one in just a second. But setting up your business, what are the steps to starting your business? Now, Brittney, I like to call the first step is the double E. You got to be a person of empathy, and you got to have education. You got to know what you're doing. But the empathy part is you got to be able to put yourself in the shoes of someone else. You really got to be a person that is a senior advocate, someone that really wants to help people. I see so many people get into this business, and it's like, oh my gosh, man, let me get into this and just make money. And it's all about the money, and it's all about the paycheck. It's all about me. And if that is your starting point, I'm here to tell you, you're not going to be that successful. You're going to find yourself frustrated. This is a tight-knit community. The medical community in itself is tight, but man, the senior referral business or senior living in general is a tight community. They're going to know you. They're going to know who you are. They're going to know whether you are a person of ethics, but you want to be a person of empathy and education. And then once you got that down pat, okay, so again, you can come to Senior Placement Institute. You can schedule a call with me, senioronbusiness.com. Click on a consultation. You can do that. We can talk about you getting some education, starting your business. You have to invest in yourself. I mean, I think about Brittney when I started my business. Gosh, I was just hoping to make $5,000 a month. Man, I was just hoping to, that was my expectations were so low, you guys. And again, if that's what you're making, I'm not trying to offend you. That's where I was at. I can completely relate, but you got to be able to say, you know what? I'm willing to invest in myself. I'm willing to invest in who I am. And I believe I can help people. I want to help people. And so I am a person of empathy. I want education. I want to learn. I don't want to just go out and just make money. Okay. But if you got the empathy and education, you need to establish your business entity, right? I've got an LLC. I think most people do. When they get into this business, you can operate as a sole proprietor if you want, but you need to get yourself set up. Now, the question we get oftentimes, Brittney, I'll let you answer this, is what kind of licenses do you need in this business?
None, technically. So it's not regulated by like nationally by any means. I do know that there's some states like Washington, for example, that has some regulations on it. But as far as like a business license, no. I would always recommend looking into your state, though, or your county. I know things now, for example, in one of my counties, I have to have a remote office business license. It's something new. So I would check with your local, your state, as well as your cities on any kind of permits you might need to operate. A lot of businesses, a lot of people that do this business just work from home. As you see, me and Matt, we don't get an office, so we're not establishing any kind of commercial property, but there's no license nationwide that you have to be a senior referral agent, but definitely always look into your local things.
Absolutely. And then once you get your business set up, comply with your local and state, laws and those kind of things. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't get into how to set up an LLC and all that. I mean, I know how, but I'm not a lawyer, so I can't offer that kind of advice. Then you want to implement your marketing strategy. You want to get right into it and go for it. Now, my marketing strategy, Brittney, you know this. You and I have been together for a long time. Brittney and I, she got into the senior home business community back in 2020, and I really look at Brittney as a friend now, and she's just a sweetheart of a person. And we've known each other for a long time. But she'll notice, man, my marketing strategy when I went out in the community and started doing this business, because again, my threshold, my bar of entry was so low. It was like $5,000 a month. Like I said, I just went out and started marketing. And I would recommend that you start doing that before you establish everything else. Because where people get lost in the woods and starting their business, once they get their business entities established, once they do the legal things that you got to do, pay your taxes and all that stuff, okay? But once you get past that, then people are like, oh, you need a website. Oh my gosh, you need to have a social media presence. Oh my gosh, you got to have a business card. Oh my gosh, you got to get brochures. Oh my gosh, I got to get all this stuff. Man, it's not about the stuff. It's about getting out into the community and marketing. And I would recommend, you see there, an 80-10-10 rule, Brittney, you know what this is, I know, but I will tell everybody what in the world is. I would recommend that you spend 80% of your time marketing. Okay, so 80-10-10 rule, everybody kind of probably understands the 80-20 rule, right? Where 20% of the people doing 80% of the work, 20% of the people are giving 80% of the money. Well, an 80-10-10 rule is 80% of your time. Say you're doing this business 10 hours a week. Let's say you're in real estate. You're making 125. You want to bump it up to 200,000. You need to spend 80% of your time. So that 10 hours a week that you're dedicating to this business, 8 hours of it is marketing. 10% or 1 hour of that 10 hours is establishing your referral agreements, getting those referral agreements acquired, right? You need to get those things done, but don't spend 80% of your time trying to get referral agreements signed. I'm telling you, that's the wrong way to do it. Franchises teach it that way. I totally get it. It makes sense. It's logical, Brittney. I mean, if you're going to promote these communities and have something to offer to residents, why in the world would you do that without referral agreements? It makes zero sense. I know in the natural, but it's just a way it's effectively done. And the reason is you want to bring value to these communities, and you're not bringing anything by asking them to sign your referral agreement. So then the last 10% is something you should do with the Senior Placement Institute or anything out there that you trust and you find value in, is get some education and continue to educate yourself. This is not 10 steps to doing this business, and once I know the 10 steps and that's it, right, Brittney? This business is so fluid. I mean, it changes day in, day out. You see that, right?
Yeah, you learn every day. Like years later, we still learn every day. Every client's not the same. There's so many moving parts to this. So, I still learn something every day, and I know many of the people that we, work with do the same. So yeah, it's fluid. There's not, like you said, a checklist that when I learn these 40 things even that I'm ready to go. You continually learn, but a good way to learn is to get out there. So we just say take action. So that 80-10-10 rule, don't spend every ounce of time trying to get perfect or become the expert. You just have to take action, because when you take action, you learn. That's how you learn.
Absolutely. All right, my man Nick's got a comment just for note. Appreciate it, Nick. I talked to Nick just the other day, my man. Colorado has a new regulation this year. A disclosure that will receive payment from the community needs to be disclosed, documented, and sent to the community and kept by the community for at least a year. Yeah, some of these things are happening. I know in California, we have no regulations in this industry to date of this video. So June 27, 2024. So if you're watching this thing in 2030, you might say, oh, wait, this guy's completely off base. But to date, there's no regulation. However, in California, as COVID hit, just before COVID, California was going to have 5 regulations that we need to comply with. And that's why I got a disclosure sheet ready to go. But I guess when COVID hit, California got amnesia and they forgot all about it. So they didn't do it. So anyway, but that's what we would do to start your business. Don't overthink it. A lot of people in this industry, Brittney, overthink it. They want scripts. They want to know exactly what to say. When I'm out marketing, man, what did Brittney say to get that moving? What was the magical word, Brittney, that you said? Was it your smile? Was it the way you walked in? Was it, did you say hi first? Did you tell me who you were first? I mean, you're overthinking this thing. It's really not an overly complicated business. Again, you need the education to do it right. And the reason I say that is because if you start your business, Brittney, I think if anyone does, and they start off a little bit not knowing what they're doing, and you kind of come across as you're really green, you're not sure of yourself, you don't have the confidence, and you portray that to the communities, that's going to be your brand. They're going to know that. And it's going to be harder to go back and rebrand yourself if you don't know what you're talking about. So it's important that you establish your brand right out of the gate. And it goes back to that investing in yourself part. If you don't invest in yourself, you don't believe in yourself. I mean, that's what we did. So, okay, let's get to the attracting leads. I know, boy, people want to talk about, how do I get some leads? I can't wait to get leads. Notice the title of this, because it goes with the next slide in just a second. Attracting leads. Notice the title was not getting leads. Too many senior referral agents, and I say that because I know a lot of them in my area, and then I say a lot because someone just popped in, I don't know, but they're all about pounding the pavement to get leads, talk with people to get leads, DM or email individuals to get leads, go on Facebook to get leads. Oh my gosh, Matt, isn't that the purpose of the business? Getting leads. Well, yeah, it is, but it's in your ability to attract leads. If I can give you something that revolutionized my life, it's the ability to attract what you want in your life. And you don't go out and just get leads. I'm telling you, whether you're talking to social workers, discharge planners, or just people in general, you're trying to put it in your circle of influence and your network, if you just go out and just try to get leads, and that is what you smell like. You smell like you're trying to get leads. You got that smell and scent of sales, which I love sales, I know, but you can't have that in this business. This business, Brittney, is more of a customer service oriented business, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not sales, honestly. I think if you were to come from the angle of a salesperson, it would be very frowned upon, very quick from every angle. So it really is more of a customer service advocate type of approach that you take. So attracting leads is really all about you, your brand, who you are as a person. We mentioned being empathetic. People in this industry and in this role will smell that. They smell that you're empathetic, that you care. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to know everything to go pound the pavement, talk to people, but they will see that you care, that you're a good human. If you're a good human, you care about seniors and you want to make a difference, that will attract leads.
Absolutely. Got another one out there. A question: what's the best way to vet communities? Fred, I'm going to give you my 3-step process for free, and anybody that's watching it. You ready? You ready, Fred? You ready? All right, here we go. What you got to do, the best way to vet communities, you're going to be able to only do 2 of these initially right out of the gate. You're not going to be able to do the third one, and you'll understand why in a second. The first one, you need to look at the state reviews. You can pull some things off Google. You can pull some things off other platforms, gain some information maybe, but the state reviews don't lie. There's complaints, there's citations, different types of citations, all that. So the best way to vet a community is state reviews. Number 2, you want to find out their reputation in the community. How you do this? You go out and talk to people. Talk to people that work in hospice. Talk to people that work in home health. Talk to people that are just in this industry altogether that maybe that have helped out a loved one or know someone else that went through something. You want to get their reputation. That's not hard to do either. That's going to take a little more time than the state reviews. Now, the third thing you're not going to be able to do, Fred, right out of the gate, unless you've already been doing this for a while, is what I call family intel. Ooh, baby. The families that we have helped, and Brittney and I, we've helped several hundred seniors that are out there, and the families will tell us that community, the care was not what I thought it was going to be. Or, man, their food was amazing. Oh my gosh, it was state of the art. I mean, some communities are just getting sandwiches, but man, mom was given a menu, an assortment of food that she could choose from. So those are the 3. Again, to repeat: state reviews, know their reputation, and then what you want to do is you want to look at family intel once you get established. All right, let's see. We got another question up here. Can you give us an example of introducing yourself as a salesperson trying to get leads versus an advocate who is trying to attract leads at communities? Brittney, go.
Okay.
How do you differentiate between being a salesperson, just trying to get leads, which is a great question, I really appreciate it, or coming across as a senior advocate?
Yeah. I think the main thing is like if you were to approach or anybody, if you're attracted or if you're looking at communities to work with, or even people in the community to get leads from, you don't want to slap, for example, a referral agreement in front of someone and said, "Hey, sign this, let's work together." Or when you're talking to social workers or talking to other people in the community to get leads, to attract leads, you wouldn't want to say, "Who do you got? Who can I help you with? Do you have somebody for me?" Not more of like like a pitch that you're trying to get business. You want to do it the opposite way, that you genuinely care and want to help them. As a senior referral agent and as a placement agency, all you're really doing, this role is helping everybody. You're helping the seniors obviously find a place to call home, but you're also helping social workers, hospitals, people in your community, your family, whatever it is that you're working with. You're helping them along the process, and you're also helping like again, social workers and stuff with discharge planning, and you're also helping the communities fill their rooms. So you are helping everyone. So come at it from an angle that you're there to help them, not there for them to benefit you to build your business. If that kind of, I would just come in from a genuinely, you're trying to help somebody. Talk to the seniors and their families like that. You don't want to pick up the phone and say, "Yes, this is Brittney with, senior home business, and this is what I do. This is how I get paid. How can I help you?" You don't want to do that. The whole approach is you are here as a resource to help everybody. So that is the approach that I would recommend.
I absolutely agree 100%. Daniel's got a question. What is the best way to find state reviews, Daniel? That is a great question for multiple states that I have helped students across the country. We got students in 34 different states. California is very easy. It's very easy to find this online. I know California may do a lot of things that are backwards, but man, I tell you what, dude, they got this down pat. But I have helped other students in other states that's a little more complex to find that. So I was to start by Googling it, and you'll hopefully be able to find it. If you want more information, you want me to help you, you can schedule a consultation, and I'll be glad to help you out. All right, let's get on. Let's go. Let me save you some time and energy and lots of rejection. These are the things you're going to need to do to attract leads. Brittney touched on several of these already. Focus on others, not yourself. That is hard because you're starting your business. The only thing you can think about is, okay, I've got to establish cash flow. I've got to get my business to where it needs to be. And I need to get move-ins. So I need to get leads. And you're so consumed with getting a lead that you're not focusing on others, you're focused on yourself. There's a biblical concept out there that's so true. It's basically a universal law, given it shall be given unto you. I'm just throwing that out there. Just help people. Focus on others. And then as you go to these different places with social workers, different people in your network, extend your hand out to give and not take. It's not about getting leads. It's about attracting leads. It's about how can I add value to the person that I'm speaking to. I mean, you go to a social worker, you're like, wow, she has a bunch of seniors there, obviously. They're all in rehab, doing OT, PT, and all that. So, my gosh, if I can just establish a relationship with her, if I can just bring her donuts, if I can just bring her coffee, if I can just give her my business card, she likes me. Some of that may work. I don't know. I'm not saying it never works, but think more about how you can help her out. She has a stressful job. She has a job that, man, is demanding. And you're going in there demanding something of her again. And you're like, hey, I want leads. I want to help people. That's what I'm in business for. But how can you help her? How can you take something off her plate, relieve her day, make her day better? So give value. As you're establishing your network, pursue partnerships by being a problem solver, by being someone that says, you know what, man, there's a problem out there. I can help this person in their business. Sometimes even in the senior living industry, Like if you went to independent communities, this is an FYI, kind of help you out a little bit if you want to kind of get established with some independent communities. Man, not only go there and talk to the marketing director and get to know them, get to know the activity director too. Start participating in some of their activities or events. Help out in some way, whether it's monetarily, whether that's physically, you just showing up and contributing, whatever it be. So you're being a problem solver because maybe that activity director is overwhelmed. Now you might think, okay, the marketing director is going to give me lead. That's one of our strategies. I won't get too far into that, but that's really one of our strategies with independent communities. There's more to it than that, but I kind of want to throw that out there, Brittney, kind of get them, oh man, what is that strategy? What is that strategy? Okay, before we get into the other one, Fred says, are you familiar with the website elderguide.com? I'm not. Brittney, are you familiar with that?
Off the top of my head, yeah, I would have to see it.
Yeah, Fred, we're not. I apologize, my friend, but we can check it out and get back to you somehow, some way. Reach out to me and I'll figure it out. I've never heard of that. Might be a great website. Just never heard of them. Then identify like-minded, like industry people. This is when you're establishing your network. I like-minded people. I kind of like people that like me and act like me, talk like me, which is kind of hard to find because I'm in California and I was born and raised in Virginia and I still talk like I'm from the South, but I lived in California for the last 23 years and still sound like, I live in Virginia. See, Virginia, my kids just don't sound like they're from Virginia. They all sound like they're Californians. But anyway, needless to say, I like people that think like me. I enjoy it better. It doesn't mean I don't work with people and help people and associate with people that don't think like me. I just prefer, if I'm going to do this business, why not make it fun and get around people that have similar interests and similar hobbies. And of course, like industry people, I mean, you want to help people and be around people that are in the industry some form or some way. All right, let's get into receiving your first paycheck, Brittney. Woo! How was it like when you got your first paycheck? Tell me about it. Come on, I want to hear this story.
Kind of surreal. It was really, it felt great. I mean, it's like you see businesses hang up their first dollar. I kept my first check just because it was really, all your hard work is paying off and you see the potential. I think it was really just surreal.
For me too. I still remember the first client that I helped. I've shared this with my students several times, but it was a lady in a mobile home park with dementia. The family was in Arizona. They flew out. They contacted us. My wife and I went out to meet the resident and their family. Such a beautiful story, you guys. I'm telling you, it's more than your first paycheck, but your first paycheck will happen because your first client. And again, it's not about getting leads, it's about attracting leads. And when you attract the right people in your life, and she changed my life. I would like to think I changed her life in some form or capacity, but she changed my life. And she had dementia and she was there during our presentations. We're talking to the family and she interjected a couple different times and said, well, my gosh, Sonny, we need to pay you. I said, no, man, you don't need to pay me. The seniors don't pay me anything. The families don't pay me anything. We get paid by the community. And she said it a couple times. And then she went to the kitchen. I don't know where she was going. But she went to the kitchen, came back, Brittney, with a beautiful plate of chocolate chip cookies. She goes, well, if you can't take money from me, you're going to take one of my chocolate chip cookies. And I said, absolutely. I'll take one of them, man. Chocolate chip cookies are top on my list. I love me some chocolate chip cookies. But receiving your first paycheck, when will you get your first paycheck? I have no idea. But I do know this. You will never get paid until you start. You just won't. Until you have, maybe like myself, I'm going to make $5,000 a month. Don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm going to get out there and do it. And then I'll bump into my first client. And then I'm able to help my first client. And then I get paid. And I'm telling you, it is a great feeling because at the beginning, I have to be honest, at the beginning, Brittney, with me, it was more, it was about helping people always. But I have to admit, when I got paid, boy, it was like, whew, I actually did this. It's amazing. But as I got along into the industry, probably about year 1, year 2, it became more about, I don't care if I get paid or not. There's a lot of times, Brittney, I know you do this countless times, and I do it as well. We help people pro bono. We help people in this industry because there's a lot of seniors out there that cannot afford it, you guys. But there's plenty of seniors that can. So don't fall into the trap of saying, well, nobody can afford assisted living. Nobody's got money. Man, call a CCRC. Call a continuing care retirement community and ask them about you helping them get leads. They'll probably tell you they don't need your services because they got a waiting list of 100 people. Now,
$150,000 buy-in.
How much is the buy-in, Brittney?
Anywhere from 150 to 600,000.
Ooh, so people do have money. Oh my gosh. It's about attracting the right client. Now, I said this earlier, you will receive an average referral fee between $4,000 and $5,000. Now, Brittney's got 2 agencies, one in Texas, one in Missouri. Brittney, the referral fee is locked in Texas at 35. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a flat rate. I mean, I know that the national company just went up a little bit higher, but for the most part, it's always a flat rate. So usually in this industry, it is a % of first month's rent that we get compensated. So the average between 4,000 and 5,000 is kind of what that average is going to be. You might have some in different states that are $7,000 per month, or even $8,000. I know, Matt, you've talked about even $9,000. My highest referral fee is $11,000. So
man, 5 figures on one move in. Come on.
So they're there. But yeah, Texas is just a flat rate state. I've done a lot of research on it. To be honest, it's something that's dug very deep, and it went into play many years ago when I think referral agents were more of a name drop business and not the concierge service that we provide. It went after the large companies that do the lead generation type of deal where they blast it. And it says that we are not allowed to get compensated on the care portion. So that's where that comes from.
Wow. Thanks, Brittney.
Kind of like apartment locators. That's exactly what the words say. We are locators. So we are not in the state of Texas. We are placement agents, but they look at us from a legal perspective of a locator.
A locator. Oh, I don't mind that. I mean, you're locating, communities. That's kind of a cool name too, I like that. And then the third one there is you experience something that's worth more than money. We alluded to this earlier. It's helping a senior, and it just warms your heart like nothing else. I'm telling you, like the story I said, it's just amazing. Got another question here. What is their average percentage and what the rent portion? Okay, average percentage. Now, Daniel, you can make this percentage whatever you want it to be. There's some people in my area that move people, seniors, and they make 50% of the rent plus care. Some communities will just be the rent and not the care. So it comes back to knowing your market. I personally will do anywhere from 80 to 100%. That's what I personally do. Now, I do have some that are closer to 70, 75 because they're national companies, and I've been doing business with them for a long time. I give them a lot of leads, and I don't mind making 70, 75% over and over and over and over again. That's fine. But you got to establish your own percentage of what you want. And most of the time it's rent plus care that's included, but sometimes it's just the rent portion. It all depends on which community you're dealing with. What's the time frame to getting paid? I want to get this question because I know some people are like, man, if I'm going to get paid, get my first check, when can I expect to get paid? Well, if you're dealing with a care home, residential care homes, they're called a couple of different things throughout the nation, but basically, you're dealing with a home, typically 6 beds. They're helping seniors. I get paid from those communities, Brittney, on average 7 to 14 days. I do have a couple of those small residential care homes that will pay me in a day or two. Some of them pay me the same day, which I don't understand why they do that, but they just do. But typically it's 7 to 14 days. In the large communities, it's usually 30 days. Now, don't anticipate your check on the 30th day. They usually cut the check on the 30th, 31st, 32nd day. So it might be closer to 35, 45 days, 30 to 45 days before you get paid. So that's when you'll get your first check, but you got to get started. So let's get into some Q&A real quick. And if you want to receive that free course, all you got to do is go to senioronbusiness.com, schedule a consultation call with myself, get on my calendar a day and a time that works best for you, and you will get the free course. But we promise you a Q&A at the end. Some of you asked questions along the way. We've taken it. Any other questions that are out there? So Josh, go ahead and make us big, if you will, on the screen. And Brittney, I love this business more than anything. It's just life-changing in so many ways. I hope people get involved in this industry. I hope they join the Senior Placement Institute. I'll put that up on the screen there. Again, you go to senioronbusiness.com. You can look more into the Senior Placement Institute and what we do. It's the most comprehensive online senior living course out there for referral agents. It just is. It's 42 modules. It blows away anything that's out there. So, and then you get to hear Brittney every week. She does her coaching. Brittney, our students love you. They appreciate you. So, any questions out there? We're going to stay on just for a few more moments. If not, you can schedule a consultation. Anything else out there? Brittney, you want to do a closing for us?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a great, like you said, it's a great business. It is way more rewarding than just financially. I have pictures in my office of all of a lot of the great seniors that I've helped. And honestly, you get to know not only the seniors, but the families that you're helping really do need our help. There needs to be, like I think you mentioned, even in your area, 20 more referral agents to help these families. There's so many that go through this that have no idea what they're doing. They place their loved ones in the wrong community at no fault to their own. They're just uneducated. They are lost. They have 72 hours to make a decision and have no one to guide them. So it is a very rewarding business every way possible. And yeah, we really hope that if you have the opportunity, love to have you chat with Matt, and I hope to see you on board.
Absolutely. Where do we schedule a call, Matt? All you got to do is go to seniorhomebusiness.com, and you'll see the consultation tab, or it's I don't know what it is. It comes across the screen. Schedule a consultation. You'll be connected with my calendar, and you can pick a day and time that best suits you. Matt, if there's a follow-up question, how do we go about getting the free training? That's all you got to do, Matt, is schedule the call with me. We'll spend 15, 20 minutes on the phone. I'm not trying to keep you here all day. I'm busy. You're busy, but I want to answer your questions, anything you may have that you want to ask me, and then we'll get you the free training. Michael Perry says, what is the percentage of clients that have to sell their house to pay for care? I think. I don't think you're asking to pay for cars, man. I don't need another car right now. Even though I kind of got the itch the other day to go get another car. But Brittney, what's the percentage of clients that have to sell their house?
Hard to say. I mean, I would say quite a bit. But there are some seniors that you'll work with that maybe don't have a home anymore. They've already downsized to a condo, or they're living already in independent living. So there's no house that needs to be sold. So I would say a lot of percent do. I also think there's ways to not have to sell your house immediately. It just depends on the situation, honestly.
Absolutely. And I know from my own experience, I have very few for some reason. Again, I think it's just the way we attract clients. So if you're in real estate, you might be able to attract a lot of people that want to sell their house. And I think it's a great way to pay for assisted living. I know assisted living has gone up. Brittney, since COVID, 15, 20%. It's ungodly expensive. I wish it was a lot less. I know we would make a lot less, but that's okay. Hey, we're advocates for seniors. We want the seniors to get the best out of all this and get the best deal possible. But there's seniors out there, guys, that have long-term care. There's seniors out there that have retirement. There's seniors out there, man, that do have money coming in, and sometimes family will help. There's a lot of different ways you can skin the cat. I hate that saying. I don't know. I've never skinned a cat, but you know what I mean. There's many different ways you can get that done. So yeah, that's one way to do it. All right, you guys, any other questions? We'll wait another 30 seconds. I don't mean to keep you all this time, but want to make sure we get to your questions. Anything else out there that you want us to address? We would love to help you out in any way. Go ahead. Again, if you want to schedule a call, go to seniorhomebusiness.com and you can hop on my calendar. That's all you have to do is go to that website, click the consultation call, and then I'll be able to jump on a 15, 20-minute call with you. You can schedule the day and time that best fits for you. It's not like we have to jump on right now, which I probably couldn't jump on right now anyway. But you get on my calendar, we can talk about it, and you get the free training. That's our deal, our promise to you. Brittney's got a heart of gold. Our company, Senior Home Business, we love helping people. We enjoy very much extending value and get you to the place you want to be. All right. All right, Matt, put only the contact tab to put in my info. I'm not sure what that means. Only the contact tab, put in my info. I'm not sure. Josh, what does he mean by that? I have no idea. Is the link not working, or is the link working? Josh coming on. He's coming on.
I think he's talking about the consultation.
He's saying he's not sure where to schedule the consultation. So go to Senior Home Business. There you go. Go right here, guys. You can go to that right there. That is the exact link. Or you can go to seniorhomebusiness.com. Josh, put that on the screen, seniorhomebusiness.com. That'll probably be easier for people. Okay, Matt, the Calendly worked. Amen. All right. I'm glad Calendly's. I know they're going through some kind of maintenance today. I was sad to get that email because I was like, man, we're doing a lot today. But go there, seniorhomebusiness.com. And all you got to do is click on the consultation tab and we'll have a conversation about this industry. Okay, so seniorhomebusiness.com. Well, Brittney, thank you so much for your time. Josh, thanks for being behind the scenes. Thank you guys for joining us today. We love and appreciate you. Anything we can do for you, always reach out. We're here for you. Let's go senior referral business. Let's get you started today. God bless. Have a great day.